by suitably choosing their complementarity so that they can at least have the chance of making a difference as a system at the problem level. And to make sure that their vibrancy is alive, we have been holding all these various meetings, etc. And we So we hope that this community, if it gets built and continues to work, will act like a think tank, so that if somebody has a problem, like your consulting professors, they can make a call to ITRA and the results will come. And now for this effort, that as you also recall, our objective was to measure the quality and quantity in terms of classical R&D quality measures and how closely it is intertwined with curriculum. So curriculum should be continuously benefiting from R&D. And then of course this otherwise not so common feature, given a place in the core quality measures, is the explicit effort to develop the sensitivity of the people involved towards society. This is something that takes us away from pure academics, and it takes us away from academics into other spheres, the soft areas. And this is really, really crucial for these to come together into socially meaningful impact, outreach. So this is something that IIMs do very well, and so we hope that some of IIM and some of humanities and some of teaching will all be pumped into R&D things, so that they become successful citizens, making use of their talent for the benefit of society. So to rephrase that we have those two, they interact together, they give rise to outreach, but societal sensitivity is a big multiplier. Therefore, and then what happens is that if you bring in all these three and try to do outreach, this gives you new ideas about R&D, and so you have this loop, another loop. So hopefully at the end, you have fieldable solutions, which of course are rooted in the joint activity of the multi-institutional teams, and they solve problems together. And this gives rise to what our Prime Minister calls IT plus IT equal to IT. So Indian talent plus information technology is India's tomorrow. So this is something that more or less we have been practicing. Now, I want to go over a summary of the results that have come out of the last 3 years, 3+ years. And I will give you that one table which has both mobile and water separately. So these are for those of you who don't remember or may not actually realize on a daily basis, because you are looking at it from your perspective, individual team's perspective, whereas this is from outside. So we have the two efforts in which we have that many teams, institutions or groups, number of faculty involved, number of PhD students involved, and number of experts, meaning that people who are joining us frequently, at least twice a year, for these workshops, as well as working with the teams. Then publications that have come out. I must point out that these publications include publications at venues which are not the greatest. So about half of these are in good places in our list. The other half are hopefully on this path. With time they will not be there. So currently there are about 200 such good publications. 39 courses, labs have been either introduced or modified. These many workshops total, between the two you can see mobile here. And then total of 17 startups. Startup ideas, technologies, prototypes are there. They they are not startups. They are hopefully on their way to becoming a startup. They are lab prototypes, and we are working on initiatives that will take them from lab prototypes to pre-industry industry prototypes. And we have been talking to various VCs and angels and other people, and based upon that, we realized that these lab prototypes have to be worked upon with a very specific set of goals, so that VCs now say, yeah, I can take it further. And 9 patents have been filed. Okay, so now let me just summarize. This is something that none of you who have seen because we just prepared it over the last several months. But you do know that the data was requested. So the data that we requested are used for generating these summaries. So what we did was we took, the different areas that we had originally listed in the government DPR, detailed progress, detailed project report, DPR. And these were explicitly listed there, these terms. And so this is what was in the proposal. Then we collected data from you on these various parameters every year for each workshop. So we collected those, so we tabulated those data over the 3 years. Okay. And from those data, we did a mapping, namely for each desirable parameter that we wanted to assess as to what impact ITR activity made on it. We defined it in terms of the measurables that we collected each time. So these parameters were used as the measure of this. These parameters were used as a measure of this, and so on. So then we plotted how we did in these categories before the project began, how teams were doing, and what the involvement in the project did, and how these values changed after 3 years. Now I must say that it is hard to come up with a single number for capacity building from these disparate measurements. They are in different spaces, and so it's hard to combine these things. For example, number of courses with labs developed, with the team visits. These are apples and oranges, so it's hard to combine them until the management people tell us how to do it. But until then, I'm going to dump all these individual parameters, not for each one of them, but each of these individual parameters which are repeated from place to place because they contribute to different things. And so I'm going to give you a summary of what has happened. Again, as I said, averaging requires weighting, so we haven't even done the averages of these things. So for capacity building, we took these measures, these parameters. So 1, 2, 3, only one parameter, but several parameters here, and so on. So if there are good ways of combining them and saying it more succinctly, please tell us. But in the meantime, we have, so what you see here is this is the yellow bars are for this period, which is the project period. The data we collected from you for these 3 years. So to do a comparison, we went and asked you guys similar data for this period, 10 to 13, and we plotted that through the blue bars. So the blue bars are pre and the yellow bars are post, and then we took the ratio of the post to pre, and it came up with this number, green number, which is the multiplier. So as you can see, the multiplier is always more than 1, which is good. It's not less than 1. There is a one place where it's less than 1, but that's in a different context. So in general, there is nothing less than 1. Some are close to 1, some are significantly higher than 1. Now, this is the green things are the team averages. We also did something else. You remember that one of the major objectives of ITRA is to let the lead institutions do their CSR, take along some of the pins. That's academic CSR. So in our pyramid, there are the pins below the lens, and so we took away lens part, and we only look at the pin data. So the blue thing is the pin data. And if you compare the blue with the green, purple with the green, here it's more, here it is less, here it is significantly less compared to the, even less than 1. Then this is almost the same large. So it is not uniformly that lens are doing better than lens. And it's understandable because if you are not going as well to begin with, you get much more from the same process. So this is what we got for this category. In terms of these parameters, which is what I had listed here. So now if you look at the next category, the search what's.
So how many lens and how many pins?
So each team has typically one lens, but there are a couple of teams which have two lenses because there are these are two pyramids. Just to remind you, the strategy formulation meeting at the beginning of the project, before we even did the RFP, we had defined the pie to be attacked by the teams, and the pie was tessellated into sub-pies, pieces, and the pieces were further tessellated into sub-pieces. That gave rise to two-level pyramid. So the piece that the team wanted to propose to work on and its tessellation itself, those cells, they together decided they will attack the piece, and they formed a pyramid of two levels, and that's how they proposed. Now some problems were larger, or they chose to solve a larger problem, which required them to have more than one pyramid. Why? Because pyramid is limited. You cannot have more than three children. A lens cannot have more than 3 pins. Typically 2 pins. So if you want to do a bigger thing, then you need more institutions. Therefore, you have to have two pyramids. And so there were 2 lens. The lens are kind of
So on the whole, across all projects,
yes.
how many leading institutions are you?
So in mobile, when we started, there were 9 teams, in which mostly there were one pyramid, that means one lens and 2 or 3 pins. Whereas in a couple of teams, there were 2 pyramids, that means, so essentially 11.
So 9 and 24.
9 plus 11 lens. 11 lens here, and because there were two adjacent pyramids. And similarly for this one also had about 7 lens. And most of them have 2 pins, some have 3. So typically you can say 2.25 or 2.3 is the branching height of this pyramid. Now that assumes significance because I'll explain that later. So research quantity, so you can just eyeball and see the numbers. So here, for example, tools and technologies, the pins have really gone far ahead because they had not done that much before, and now suddenly they are developing all these tools and technologies. Some of the best technologies have come out of places that you have never heard of. So that's really, really rewarding. Okay, research quality we measured by how many publications were done with mentors, because mentors are world leaders, and if they publish with people, then they will make sure that the quality is good. And then we also measured it by PhDs, business students opting for higher studies, either going from UG to PG, masters, or masters to PhD, or bachelor's to PhD directly. So that's what there. So we were able to influence pins more than lens. Both were double, but this was more than double. The ecosystem, that's a really tough one. It has lots of stuff. Again, the parameters were this is a major objective of the government and all the institutions to get more PhD students. And so we got I will go into to give you the example of technologies soon. But these are, other than transfer of technology, these are other activities that you can connect with all the startup patents, the contents, tools developed that have not been transferred yet, collaborations, consultancies, board memberships, training schools, long, short courses. So I want to again thank all the teams for helping us do this, because this was a lot of work for you. We were pestering you for this data and that data and that data, because there were 2 dozen parameters. So for all of them we have to get data. And everybody is busy, so it is very much appreciated that you lived up to the expectations and did this. Now I'm not saying this, those of you who you know who you are. These people who have not been able to do it for various reasons, good reasons, we would like to have your data also, so that the statistical confidence of the results that we've gotten is perfect. Right now it's a little less than it could be. So the confidence interval will shrink to get us more data. So we'll be following up with requests for the remaining data. Okay, so that's the summary in terms of the measures. We could do that only now. Now let me, not for the advantage of those who are, everybody actually, because except for your team's efforts, most of you are not familiar with what other teams have come up with in terms of technologies. So I will just quickly summarize what so these are 17 technologies that are above some threshold. Because all the teams have been doing nice work, and there are many, many little possibilities. Some are 1 foot high, some are 2 feet high, some are 3 feet high. We are looking at those which are above 5 feet. That doesn't mean there are none below 5. And they are also growing. Soon they will cross the threshold. So, but right now we have to pick some so that we can focus our efforts. And these are the ones we picked, and the rest are equally important, but they may be just needing a bit more time. And we are planning to nurture those also through various kinds of help. So this, if you remember, is the micronet project, where you are setting up an internet among the boats, fishing boats, away from the shore where there is no internet. So, this is related to that, a system, a mobile, a website that does the management of the information and takes advantage of this information that is gathered. And this is the hardware that has been developed to facilitate communication from the boats, collective communication from the boats to the shore, because these guys through their internet, local internet, collect their data, and then one antenna they have developed which is pointed at the tower on the shore, and it just dumps the data in 1 spurt or 2 spurts every now and then when there is enough collected or there is need to send. So these 3 are interrelated. They are currently we are focusing mostly on this, well actually together, on the transfer. Then there is this our friend's technology where you cough into your phone and the phone comes back and says this is the kind of cough you have, or details of the cough, and you need to go to the doctor or take Parliament or something. Then this is the real-time bus information system that is coming out of the CARS project, using the cell phones that are present, smartphones that are present on the bus, using them to decide where the bus is, how slow it is going, when it will reach the destination, how many people are on it, kind of things. And this is a human sense project in which we have sensors measuring the energy usage and also the need for energy usage. Well, that's so, and then optimizing, doing things to minimize the usage. So unless you know, you won't be able to minimize, because if you haven't measured it, you will not be able to change it. So human sense here. Next is also human sense, where you have a cuffless blood pressure monitor where various parameters, including the blood pressure, is inferred from the basic measure of pulse. And this is something that we are pinning our hopes on in terms of really making a difference in the health area. All of these are pre-industry post-lab prototypes. Then this is also human sense, where the general purpose emulator through basic hardware, ARM-type hardware, embedded systems, which reincarnates itself into different operating systems, different communication architectures, different communication structure among the modules, not just the. So all kinds of different concepts you can communicate to the user, for example, students, so that you can teach them more effectively, but using the same cheap piece of hardware. You don't have to buy different systems for doing this. And then this is our telemedicine project, where there are 12, I think it's 12 kiosks running now, or maybe now more, in Bengal here, where the high school girls help with the incoming patients, help patients to collect data, connect them with the remote doctors, do some computation and communication through the cloud, and take recommendations. Basically, let the patient as a doctor. Now, of course, this is something everybody is trying to do, but we have so many kiosks running currently, and also being run by people, high school girls, who are not trained. Then we have a very important project, which is on building internets right after a disaster when everything is destroyed. The towers are destroyed. So you have these devices that have been developed that you place them in the affected area, and they interconnect with the phones in the vicinity, 50 to 75 meter radius, and they become the collector of data. And then if somebody travels through, like a first responder travels across the affected area, then it carries the information from here, and collects it centrally, which can then go out. So that means you can find out from in the early or golden hours, this person might say, oh, I am trapped here at such and such address. I am, hungry, I need water, I need blanket. Most of those needs are really obvious, but the most important thing is that they tell you where they are. So this is something that is in big demand, and this is something that I also tagged along. Something that I have done on my side is the analysis of the source from broadcast videos, where you can analyze what player is doing, what players are doing together, what strategy are they using. This is also in significant demand. This is coming to now water, high-care water, where we have 6 such technologies. This one is a device that you have today, a device that you can place on the in the soil, in the field. The device measures the known parameters, the moisture, the temperature, the type of some soil parameters, such as fungus, presence of fungus, various diseases. And it tells you what level of disease. And then it also has computational models of crop growth, different crop growth. And combined with all of this, it sends the information out which says that under all these conditions, following are the steps to be taken. Don't put any more than necessary of the pesticide, because fungus is only this much, not that much. And don't try and grow this much, this particular crop, because my model says that with this moisture and with this kind of forecast, you're not going to get the best. Do this instead. So it is more than just measurement device. It also brings in intelligence to computational models. And of course, a tremendous amount of knowledge that is stored, such as what do you do when the fungus is there or when some other pest is there. So this is critical because we all know that there's a cancer thing going out from Punjab every day to Tata Memorial Cancer Hospital, and this is the kind of thing that can cut down the amount of pesticide without affecting the area. This is an effort in which they have predicted where the groundwater is. So based upon ERT type resistive thermography, they predict, they do the signal processing, they predict where the water might be, and then you dig it. So with the money that we were able to muster, there were 2 efforts made at digging based upon their predictions, and one out of the 2 yielded, and the other one did not. Now that is not random, because if you predict otherwise, your hit rate might be 0.01, 0.001. In fact, I just met somebody 3 days ago, and they were saying that he's an industrialist out of Hyderabad, very rich guy. He says, out of this big empire, I also do this farming on the side because I was a farmer first. And he said that I look for water in many places and never found it. But I have no problem because I'm rich. But the next guy tried it, first tried it with this money, then with that money, then went to the bank, then went to relatives, and unfortunately, no hit. So he was almost crying. He said that, look, I don't know, I have absorbed it, but what about this guy? So this is extremely important. So that tells you that the hit ratio is not 0.5. Because for whatever reason, you cannot say that randomly one place has water and the other place doesn't. The probability half. So this is a very important one. And by the way, this technology is not at all new. This is the ERT, very well known. But it is in rocky area, and then you have to take into account the slope at which, for example, the rock might be slanted like this. So where will you dig? Will you dig diagonally upward? And then related to this is a technology that tells you where are the best locations for you to direct the water, which might otherwise go to the ocean. So if you want to store it locally, which is the best place or the weakest point, most absorbing point. And so hopefully, if government wants to do anything, they will make sure at least that place is protected from the builders. If they have any control over it. This is the place to exert. So this is an effort out of a team with 2 pyramids. They have developed hardware where you have a little dynamo that you put in the pipe and it generates power. That power feeds the quality meter that they have, which takes arsenic or dissolved oxygen or mercury or those things. It tells you how much of that is in the water that is going through the pipe. That's one side of it, the quality. The other side is that it measures the flow. If there's a leakage in the net, it tells you. So 2 things. So this thing is very much appreciated by these high-rise complexes. The builders are interested in doing this, using this because it helps them financially also. It converts into profit, money. So this is something that is, so this is the device they have built. And there are several companies, builders that they are talking. Some of the big ones also. This is something that is operational in Bangalore. They are using it today. What they have done is something very simple. Suppose I know the topography of the city, like the land map. What's the height map? That's no problem. You also know height map, plus you also know where the obstacles are. So if you include in the height map the presence of buildings, then you have a comprehensive force map. When the water falls, when the rain occurs, how will the water flow? The height map will decide that, obstacles from buildings will decide that, going around, etc. Now, so that's all pre-done. But now, what they do is they measure the rainfall and measure the intensity and then predict at what rate will water accumulate, what height, in which place. So that they give, that data they give to the authorities, who can now prepare where the flooding will be. Maybe it will affect the traffic flow, they will redirect the traffic, or they will put up extra pump there so that it suck out all of it. So this is something operational in Bangalore. It is going to Hyderabad, it's going to Vadodara, those kind of things. I was telling them, Indore should be next, because other people are doing it, Indore should be doing it. Indore is the number one smart city in the country. This is something which has really shaken up. This is 250-meter weather forecast, drought forecast, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks in advance you tell what the condition will be of moisture. In a pond which is of India size, not of 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, but at 250-meter resolution. So this is something that is really, it has been published in Nature Geosciences. And now, IMD, as of last week, IMD wants to put it on their side because their own resolution is higher, of course. So this is something that a company is in negotiation with, where they will use, because they use this information to work with farmers. They have the farmer infrastructure, and so if they get this, their quality of service will go up. Okay, so that's a summary of the 17 technologies which are above the threshold. There are many below the threshold. And I know that they're growing, and soon we'll have more. So this is one of the most satisfying things that have come out, and thanks to the teams, congratulations. Almost every team has something. And I won't go into the areas that are yet to be. These two areas have not received the money that is due so far for a variety of reasons. We only, out of 148 crores, we only got money for those two areas, the others are coming. So we'll see how that goes. Once that happens, in fact, 2 of the projects out of the 10 projects here have started, and we are expecting contribution from ICAR very soon. And this one is still behind. I forgot about this. So why hasn't it happened? I thought of Ghalib Sheikh, it says बहुत शोर सुनते थे पहलू में दिल के जो कांटा एक कतरा है वो निकला. So this is something that was applicable when Ghalib was around. People used to carry hard because flesh and blood used to beat like flesh, and so there was this feelings of this and that. But if you look at them today, शोर तो अभी भी होता है, दिल के पहलू में शोर तो भी होता है, बट अगर उसको खोलो जो काटा तो एक फलाद में फुट जाता है. So there is a difference between the flesh and blood heart and the steel heart that both beat, but one is lifeless and one is lifeless. So I don't know, I'm not going to elaborate on this, what the relationship of this is to this, but that's for you to extrapolate and interpolate and influence. Okay, so together, all 4 focus areas at the rate that 2 areas have yielded results, this is what we are expecting with all 4 areas combined. Remember, only 2 have been completed. So this is approximately, not quite, a little bit more than double because of the agriculture area being twice as large. So this is what we are expecting at the end of 4 areas, after 4 areas are done. Now, to conclude, or towards conclusion, I also want to tell you, in addition to those 2 areas not being, that we have not been able to implement those 2 areas, I want to take account of what is it that we thought were challenges when we started, and what is that model aims at addressing. Remember when we started, we said, how can we make a difference? So we listed a set of challenges. Why is Indian educational and research ecosystem in the shape that it is in? Why is it not doing any better? So we have listed those 4 challenges. The largeness, which of course leads to inertia. If it is an elephant running, nobody can stop it. If elephant is sitting, nobody can start it. So it's that scale issue. How do you get it from sitting to start to running? Then this very major challenge that we identified, namely institutions being in a few clusters as opposed to a ramp of quality. So there is this quantization in the quality of the ramp of the institutions, and it's nice to have more of a continuum. Third is the lack of teamwork that we don't have to talk much about. We know that, and also the drive, which is less than it should be. So these are the four challenges we had which we had identified. And the model, ITRA model, was designed to meet these challenges. And I'm listing them here, even though they are familiar. I'm listing them here because we want to now see where we failed, where we succeeded. So if you remember, the challenge of meeting challenges 1 and 2 was done through this pyramid structure. So the green means we are able to do it, but the growth part is yet to come, but that's not a failure. Blue means that the time has not come yet. Green, we were able to do this team formation through the pyramid. That was green, that's okay. We were able to meet challenge 3, teamwork. We believe that the results are proof of the fact that there is teamwork, and the meetings of the teams have been supporting that. Again, the team working together to solve a problem. Now, inspiration is black. So, a performance-based incentive. Let me just remind you, these two are the parts. These two are the ways in which we were dealing with the challenge of lack of drive. And here, we were able to fulfill, to a large extent, the inspiration part, because all these mentors, the experts who are here, and at this point I want everybody to really recognize our mentors, because without them none of this would have happened. And if it's not too much, can I ask all the mentors to please stand, and we want them to be publicly recognized. So they are all sitting here, so I would request everybody to really express our appreciation for them. Many of them are not here, but I'll tell them about your feelings once more. However, the incentive parts have been missing. We have not been able to provide the awards that we had promised. The monetary awards to students has not happened. Flexible grants has not happened. Payment to undergraduate participants, we did not really give special money to it, although they could have used it from the grants. However, we have made as much of a progress as you can read this. If you cannot read this, then the progress is negligible. We have not been able to provide the support for international travel as much as we have had only some dozen or so trips. So these are things that need to be worked upon. So if you take the optimistic view, then these are the things that, yes.
So where was the issue concerning? No, that's all.
So
Where was the issue concerning grants for international travel?
So what we did was, we had, when we started out formulating this, the government said that, you have to have the right procedures and committees and policies. So we formed the policies. It was signed upon by the right people. It was a formal policy, but when time came to actually act on it, the policy was completely forgotten, as if nothing happened. And each single case was looked at. Every request was basically it was re-looked at every time, and it was denied mostly.
Basically bureaucratic.
bureaucrat.
But IT has always funded its own.
No, there is nothing that says you don't fund it. But then it goes to all kinds of places, and then it doesn't come back. So there is this, there is this fundamental hesitation, international, it just leads to a reflexive reaction. That's the problem. It's not because of any documented policy level problem. It is just this reflexes that, if you want to travel domestically, no problem. But there it is just a knee-jerk reaction. So I don't know how to, why. Yeah. No, they're aware of it. And they've done their, many of these people have done their best. George here is sitting there, he has done his best, but he's not involved in it. So it goes to finance ministry. The last visit, the last time we sent it was waiting for Secretary of Finance. Now he has many more things to do than our travel. Well, it makes us feel important. So anyway, these things have really been very welcome if you look at it it has made the teams go through this. So I remember I don't know whose doha it is, whether it's Rahim or Rand or Kabir, I don't know, I don't remember. But it said that jo hira ho kaata na gaya wo chamak dikhana kya. So this is like a sangharsh, and sangharsh always brings the best out in you. If you survive, you are brighter, you are better. Jo mehndi ho kisi na gayi wo rangat lana kya. So I think if you look at it that way, we are braver and more positive, and the teams are made it despite all this. They have grumbled, they should grumble, but at the end they didn't. So the point now is that we aage chalenge down. And we hope that this closure workshop is a new one. Okay, so this is the what we are going to do from here on. We are going to still work on this and hope that something more reliable can happen. I don't know what we can do, but sort of bring it up again so that we can do the people coming in. Most of the mentors, most of the times have come on their own from abroad. Domestic, we have been able to pay. Domestic mentors has no problem, we have paid them. But foreign mentors is a problem. And the other issue is the decision loop, which everything takes time, and hopefully that will also be addressed. But these have been our decelerators so far. And there are some features I mentioned which are have not been implemented, not because there is a problem, but because their time has not come yet, it is only coming now. So one is deepening the pyramids. You have to add a layer. Our goal was to add it between end of second year and the beginning of end of third year, in the third year. So that is yet to happen. We are hoping that will be, and the technology transfer and startups is somewhat on schedule because we have done the preliminary things and we have got a lot of lessons, and we are going to now run a competition for the startups so that they can generate, they already have business plans, but let their business plans be ruggedized and submitted so that we can give them money to really seriously convert it into an industry prototype with the engagement of entrepreneurs and industry, etc. And finally, the ultimate goal of ITR initiative was to run a pilot, do an experiment. The experimental results are now out. Now it is for us to decide, for the government to decide whether this experiment was done for a reason or frivolously, which is not the case. So take this experiment and decide whether it's worth replicating. If that's the case, there is a plan to, so before I give you the plan, this is the, remember the deepening the pyramids. We are so far at this stage and we need to bring in this layer. And that is happening, that should be happening. Then the second part is technology transfer, which is the last leg of our whole process. The process begins with strategy formulation meeting and all through. This is the stage we are going to be pursuing now, the stage of stage of startups. And finally, replicating, which means going from mobile and water examples to, let's say, agriculture and human simulator, which is a part of the pilot, but then replicating it at a very large scale. And the plan is to start 20 focus areas, 4 per year and 1 every quarter. So basically, what we have done so far multiplied by 10. This is the plan. Yes?
What is the startup, transferring technology to startup? So industry typically is also, having a lot of incubators. So, and they are now not getting good quality, let's say, applications. So maybe we can always streamline these, points to those incubators. I sit in 2 of those incubators, advisory board. So they might be, able to, let's say, does it and then, take them. So that might be making the process, easier. The rest always can go to other incubators. There are private incubators, small incubators, universal incubators. So maybe that would be streamlining.
Yeah, so those of you who didn't hear the comment is that there are lots of these incubators which can be taken advantage of because they will benefit from this activity as well as activity will benefit from the facilities they get from the incubators. And the answer is yes. Look, some of them are connected with the incubators if they happen to be on campus, otherwise they go elsewhere. But what we are planning to do now is to make it much more formal and very rigorous instead of sort of people driving it at their own pace. And this program that we would like to propose to, for the next round is that they will actually submit serious, well-balanced proposals for competing among each other, and then we will give money. And then this progress that we have been measuring so far will now be in terms of the business perspective, not research only. Yes. So how much progress you are making with this?
What is the IPR policy as it is?
So IPR policy, our policy in the beginning, when we started this whole initiative, luckily around the same time, DT had put up on their site the new policy. And the policy said IPR rests with the institutions. It was and I don't know whether it's still there. Is it still there? It is still there. MIT has still the same policy. This was kind of a nice change that had happened around the same time. Huh?
I have to work for it.
Oh, so there is the secret force. So now they
Having said that, IPR now rests with the institutions. So are the institutions going to let go of the IPR? So
when the startups propose, when we get the formal proposals from startups, so far it's been part of ITRA. But when we have the startup initiative, that would necessarily include this aspect. And they will have to spell out what the policy will be. Startup will get the benefit or not get the benefit.
but if I'm a student working on one of these projects, and it's the project has immediate results, that's fine. So if I happen to be one of the students in fact who was part of such a project, let me assume that the whole project will be working with has yielded significant results. I now want to go and commercialize the work that I have done. I want to be able to decide the way how to take this forward. So I need IPR, not the institution that I worked for. So I think the institutions themselves have to let go on the IPR, so the fact that the students can begin to take that.
So the question is whether the startups will get it from these institutions or the institutions will cause some difficulty. And probably, I think we will get this information up front and then work with the institutions to do so. So So that's a point, that's a good point. And if they have certain percentage they want to keep, perhaps okay. Now in the US, of course, as we know, it is zero. If you want to build a startup based upon your, now of course, if you have done something on an R&D project, so this R&D project, that's one thing, but this is not ready. Once you convert this into a startup, and that happens elsewhere, then you have to negotiate with the university, and they might give 2, 3, 4, 5%, but not much more. On the other hand, if there is a significant, if you haven't patented or if you don't have a technology that is significantly related to what finally comes out, then it may be overlooked. People may look the other way, they may not care. But if it is a serious concept that is solely at the basis of the startup, then the institution would, for example, in the case that what we did, the institution kept 5%. University of Illinois kept 5% of the, and the rest is gone out. I think this is the secret of US success in terms of academic startups. Because typically it's not more than 5%. So the hope is that with the 20 focus area plan, we will have this kind of ecosystem. This is at the rate that we have seen happen. So I think at this stage, we can expect something that will not be lost in time, that there will be significant collective motion, which hopefully will not be reversible. And it's very important for the frequency to be high, one every quarter type of thing, for this thing to assume a momentum. Okay, so not to mention that the government will benefit a lot from it, because ministries will benefit, because all of this is on different domains, textiles and water, etc. But I'll close with one final comment, which is personally very, very important to me, and I've talked to many people and it's important to them, that any of these efforts that we have done are in the space of mind, and it is not as reliable. And one thing that we set out to do in the 4 measures, the bottom left was societal sensitivity. And I believe that we would have failed if we have not made some difference in the thinking of the people. At least I would consider it a failure if we have not made some difference in the thinking of the people in ways that we heard about 100 years ago, not too far from here. A lion roared in this area, whose voice reverberated across the country. And the lion said, "Give me 100 men, young men, and I shall transform it." And it's not too far from here, just goes a little west from here. I think it's west. And the question is, directly or indirectly, have we raised the sensitivity level of the students and the faculty at all? Because this is, no matter what color you see it in, this is eventually what determines what people's minds, where people's mind work, where people's daily activity are directed, because this is the control. And whichever language you see it in, this is what really determines the ultimate success. This is what gets you through hardships and keep focused. So with that, I will just come quickly to the structure of the workshop. We have mostly panels. There are 5 panels. And these are just, the structure is very similar to what your book chapter is doing. The chapter that you are preparing, and we will be soon be discussing with the publisher to compile these into one. So once we have the final book chapters, then this is really towards that, the same structure, same ideas. And in addition to these panels, we have half-hour team highlights, 3-year highlights of their work from the entire project period. So these are half an hour summaries of 3 years of work. So in the panels, please, moderators, please make sure that things are done in this structure that we have given. There are typically 5-minute statements of each panel consists of one person, one representative from each team, and they talk about what were the successes, what were the challenges, what did they do to resolve them, and how to minimize the difficulties in the future. But outside of this 5-minute thing, which is about 40 minutes, the remaining 50 minutes would be open discussion on the subject. At water workshop, it was very, very useful, extremely useful. And here it's twice as useful because there are twice as many people. And of course, these will be used in defining the next phase of ITRA, if there is any. So I will just keep these here as the content of the panel. We can replace this at the time of the panels for those of you who are participating for the benefit of the representatives. And to remind you from the teams, we do expect the chapter content soon. And remember that the mentors are your co-authors. And each chapter will have a mentor or two associated with it, so that they will basically work with you on the chapter and they'll be co-authors. And the other things that we expect from you is the METI data forms which are needed by the ministry to close the projects, and any missing data that is still expected from those of you. There are very small number of cases. Okay, so that really is the end. And now we'll go to the first item on the agenda.
Thank you, Professor Ahuja, for the excellent presentation, and it's really an exciting vision. And we all hope that other institutes also will come forward in coming 2-3 years to contribute to this particular, to realize this vision. Okay. So now before formally starting the group presentation, let's have a tea break. We are outside. We are waiting outside, so if you please go there and have tea, and within half an hour we'll come back, and then we'll have formal presentations from the team and the bench.